Let's reset the running back rankings next on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Welcome to FFT in 5. I'm Chris Towers. I'm here by myself, and we're going to talk about my running back rankings for the 2023 season. Now that the free agency season has mostly died down, we still got a couple of guys out there. We still got some trade talk that we need to figure out, and obviously the NFL draft in the next couple of weeks is going to give us a little bit of a shakeup at the running back position, and we'll start at the top where Austin Ekeler's lingering trade demand has shaken up the top of the rankings just a little bit for me. I did originally at the start of free agency have Austin Ekeler as my number one running back for the 2023 season. I just had a little bit of concerns about how Christian McCaffrey was used when Elijah Mitchell was healthy. We saw several different occasions this season where Elijah Mitchell came in, salted the game off, and Christian McCaffrey didn't get quite as many touches as he otherwise could have been. So that was enough to drop him into number 2. But since we don't know where Austin Ekeler is going to play in 2023, I do have to drop him just a little bit for that uncertainty. But I'm assuming he'll still be back in Los Angeles and still be a very, very good player. And he might just be the number one guy by the time we get to the start of the season. After that, same as it was before. Jonathan Taylor's number 3, Saquon Barkley's number 4, Josh Jacobs number 5. Once we knew Jacobs was coming back to Las Vegas, I think he was an easy pick for a top 5 running back. I think you could make a case for him as high as number 3 with the passing game usage we saw last season. However, that did wane as the season went on, so I'm not sure you can necessarily trust him, although he was on the field pretty much more than any other running back in football last season. After that, we got a riser. We got Tony Pollard. Now that we know he's back in Dallas, now that we know Ezekiel Elliott is not coming back to Dallas, Tony Pollard's a safe-ish number 6 running back for me overall, just ahead of Derrick Henry. Although I will say, we got a lingering question left at the running back position besides Austin Ekeler, and it's the NFL draft. We got a really good class. We've talked about that with Emory Hunt over the last couple of weeks. Go check out those past episodes where we talk about the top running back prospects. But it's a very good draft class for running back, and obviously Bijan Robinson from Texas figures to be a top 12 running back. I think Dallas is an obvious landing spot if he lasts into the late second round or late first round. Obviously, Philadelphia could also be one. And that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on, because if Bijan Robinson lands in the right spot, I think he's going to break into that top 8 at the position. Right now, I've got it Tony Pollard 6, Derrick Henry 7, and then Breece Hall's a very iffy 8. We don't know what his status is, how healthy he's going to be by the start of training camp. He has top 3 running back potential, but with the injury, I'm not exactly sure how much he's going to be able to do early on. So he's a shaky number 8. I think Bijan Robinson likely slides in there, but I'm not putting him in yet. Then I've got Dalvin Cook, Ramondre Stevenson, and Nick Chubb. Those guys were all in that order in the first run, right in that same range. I think they'll continue to be there. They seem very safe. I don't really worry about what James Robinson means for Ramondre Stevenson, because I watched James Robinson play last season, and I thought he was pretty unimpressive. He had a couple of long runs early that really covered up a real lack of efficiency. He was very, very dependent on those big plays, and he didn't really look all that fast. So I think once we saw the regression kick in, he looked a lot worse. I'm not really worried about Ramondre Stevenson losing playing time, especially with Damian Harris leaving for Buffalo. At number 12, I've currently got Aaron Jones. Don't feel great about that one. With Aaron Rodgers gone, we just don't know how good that Packers offense is going to be. We know he's going to split time with A.J. Dillon as well. So you can tell I'm a little iffy on the low-end RB1s here. Got Joe Mixon. He's a big riser. I had him 20th when we started this process, but it looks like he's going to stay in Cincinnati. They haven't released him yet. There are still some whispers that they might, but it hasn't happened yet. So I'm assuming at this point he's going to be back, and he's going to be a borderline number 1 running back. And then you've got Travis Etienne and Kenneth Walker at 14 and 15. I think I'm probably going to be lower than the consensus on both of those guys. Just don't love the pass catching role. Don't really think it's there, but obviously super talented players. So it wouldn't surprise me if I ended up moving them into the top 12 before long. Najee Harris has fallen a little bit. I moved Travis Etienne, Joe Mixon, and Kenneth Walker ahead of him, but not really anything that Najee Harris did wrong in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, I just not a huge fan. Don't love the upside there. Miles Sanders moves up a lot. He's RB 17. He was 26 before signing with Carolina. So I like him quite a bit there. It's not a huge upside play, but should have a lot of volume, should be a safe running back who gets a lot of touches consistently. So I like that for him. After that, man, it's kind of a mess. To round out the top 24, I've currently got James Conner, Alvin Kamara, Damian Pierce, Javonte Williams, J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery, and DeAndre Swift. A lot of question marks there. Detroit's backfield, how are they going to split touches? What does Baltimore's offense even look like if Lamar Jackson's not back? Especially, are they going to still run that option-heavy offense? I think it's a fair question. Alvin Kamara has the off-field issues. We don't know what his availability is going to be. James Conner, we don't know if Kyler Murray is going to be ready for the start of the season. Which is to say, there's an opportunity for Bijan Robinson to be a number one running back, for Jahmyr Gibbs to be a top 15 or top 20 guy in the right spot, and for some of these other rookies to really break in and be potential starters for your fantasy team once we know where they land. So it's going to be a big draft for the running back position, and luckily it's a pretty talented one from what we understand right now. So that's a good sign, and that's going to do it for Fantasy Football Today in 5. We'll be back tomorrow. Talk with Emery Hunt about more NFL draft preview. We'll have more dynasty content later in the week. We'll see you then.